The final documentary that I'll be talking about today is Black Box Diaries. Directed by Shiria Ito, Black Box Diaries is the story of her pursuit for justice after being raped by Noriyuki Yamaguchi, a big shot journalist and friend of the former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. So Shirio's fight to be heard and taken seriously by the police and media after the incident is really gut-wrenching. The documentary itself is super intimate and raw, and it's a beautifully made film, truly. But I do want to warn people that even though she took care to portray all of the material sensitively, this was like a really difficult watch, and I can't really recommend it in good faith without warning people to please look into trigger warnings before you check this film out if you think that this might be something that's difficult for you to watch. I felt pretty angry and drained after watching this, to be honest. It was really difficult to see how much backlash Sherry received for coming forth as the victim of a really terrible crime that's inexcusable. Like, it was done against her for no other reason than violence and intimidation, and ugh. But on the brighter side, the film really says a lot about perseverance, and it ultimately shows how the Me Too movement was started in Japan, which has led to a lot of attention on the need for them to update their laws on consent and the prosecution of sex crimes. So it's not all bad, but it is a really heavy watch, which doesn't negate how good it was. Like, this was objectively an amazing documentary. I just felt heavy after watching it, so I can't ignore that. Like, I don't want people to go in unprepared. But anyways, I feel like I've covered that now. So I want to talk about the Q&A actually. She already came to the Q&A, and I mean, obviously she starred in it and was the director, but it's just like impressive that she was in the same room, you know? Anyways, you can tell that she is genuinely such a kind and warm person. Like, her her bubbliness and her personality does shine through in the film despite how heavy it is, but seeing her in real life, you just like she lights up the room. Like, she has a very vibrant personality, and she was like literally walking to audience members during the Q&A to like hand them her microphone so that they could like have their questions amplified and heard by the whole theater, which isn't usually how that's done. Normally they repeat the questions, but I thought it was really, really sweet that she was going up to people with her microphone. And I'm bringing this up in part just because, like, honestly, she rocks, but also because what she did by like being so warm and kind to the audience is she created a really safe space in the theater that actually encouraged, like, she wasn't trying to do this, but she actually, a few audience members felt comfortable enough to share their stories about, seeking their journeys seeking justice after sexual assault. So the film like basically created dialogue like then and there. Like, people were so ready to talk the second after it was over. And I think that's a sign of really, really strong filmmaking, and just goes to speak to how thoughtfully the material was made and just how, like, honestly, how much Shirio Ito rocks. And filming this film was really brave, not just in the sense that it was obviously like insanely personal and there's lots to relive if you're going to make a film like this. Um, but she shone a light on what was and still is a taboo topic, especially in Japan. And she put herself at risk of being like harassed and sued and or like even like physically harmed because, again, the man who who raped her was a very, very powerful and well-connected man. The man who allegedly, I don't want to get sued, but um, and it's gotten to a point where she has to have like a safe house abroad to protect herself when the film comes out. So it is insanely brave that she created this film. It's such a like, it's so powerful. Like, it's such an FU to a system that treated her terribly and to a person who treated her terribly. So I love that. And she's honestly just like such a hero. Like, she's a badass, and Black Box Diary is a real testament to her determination. So if you're feeling up to watching this, I think it's a really great film. Again, just like make sure you're kind to yourself. So one of the lessons that this film taught me actually was just that if you as a viewer are going to watch something this heavy, it might be a good idea to have like a way to like calm yourself down after, like some idea of what you're going to do after to make yourself feel a little better. And this actually isn't really the only documentary that's taught me this throughout the festival. Like, I've watched a lot of films about really big issues that are like super upsetting, obviously, to hear about. So yeah, just be kind to yourself if you're gonna watch like documentary after documentary about like these really big topics because it can like kind of weigh you down, and it's still important to learn about them, obviously. Like I would never say don't watch this because it's political and it's heavy. I would just say like watch it, think about it, talk about it, but find a way to emotionally regulate after, because that was a little tough, I found, after leaving a couple of these films, especially I think since I was just in a situation where I was watching film after film after film. So yeah, that's kind of a little reflection that I had after the hot docs experience. Again, I just want to say I'm really happy that I got to do this and that I got to see so many films, and these three films were all really strong. I totally recommend that you go see any of them. And yeah, with that, I'm looking forward to talking about the final three films that I'll be reviewing, and then to do a greater um, Madeline's picks for the festival because I think that'll be fun. And I'll talk about the Rogers Audience Award because I got to go to that ceremony, which was really cool. So all of that is coming up. I hope everyone stays tuned. Thank you for bearing with my tardiness as far as getting these reviews out, and I will talk to you guys all very soon. Thank you so much. Bye.